Oh my gosh, it's never been that hard for me to get on. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Did we lose everybody else?
I just redid the entire call, so everyone else is going to have to join again.
Okay, thank
There's
you.
two other gals that are still in the old
I
call.
couldn't get on. Should we not live this? Should we cancel the recording right now, or?
We don't have to submit the recording anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, that's true. Oh, we don't have to submit this recording this time? Oh, did we lose somebody else?
Yeah.
No or yes?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think it's you. I think there's something going wrong with Google Air today.
Well, everyone else was actually on the last call. You just couldn't get on it, so I initiated a new call for everyone.
Okay. Thank you.
So I just resent the invitation to everyone to see if they can get on this one.
Okay. Yeah, I went in and it said I wasn't 18, and someone had messed around with my birthday, which, one, that was scary. So I changed that, and then it wouldn't let me in.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep. I just went to the other video call and told them about this one.
Gotcha, thanks.
So hopefully they'll come over here.
Yeah, I just resent everyone an invitation for this one, so hopefully they'll change over.
Yeah. You made it.
So Terry's trying to click in here too. We kept clicking into the old room, the old group.
Hey, are you in my 460 class, Terry? No, not, I don't know. Not you.
Tiffany? Is that who you're asking about?
Is anybody taking 460? Okay. Maybe it's just in this class I recognize people.
I think this ends up being about the same every time, so that's great.
Tiffany, you're the one that looks familiar to me.
Oh, yeah, no. We've been in the same group, I think, all 3 times.
Yeah. Okay, that's probably right. I don't know how to use my button. There it is.
Well, shall we just get started?
Yeah, Terry and I both have other classes, so, right, Terry, didn't you say you have one? So, yeah, let's
I've got to out of here at 11.
Mm-hmm.
What was our time on this? I should have checked before this started. Is it 45 minutes or an hour?
We don't have to, I don't think we have a specific time because we don't have to submit the video for it this time. We just need to discuss the case study enough to get a write-up done so that we can get that sent in.
Yeah, so,
Sure.
and each time it says that we're supposed to follow the case analysis worksheet for our write-up. So it's not just like the little paragraph, it's the actual analysis. But it still doesn't have to be 4 pages like I did the first time.
Thank you.
So do we want to have someone who's acting like as scribe and just writes down what we say on each thing that can turn it in?
Yeah, that's the best way, I think.
Is anyone really fast at typing?
Nobody wants to do it.
I can do it.
I've done it the last 2 times, so I would rather not do it again, but if nobody else will, then I will.
So each answer should be 100 to 200 words in length.
Each
So
answer?
Well,
I'm sorry, what?
why don't we do this? Why don't each person answer one of the questions so everybody's doing it together?
Good idea.
We can do that. That'll be fast.
So
We just submit our answer to the teacher on the discussion board.
no,
That makes-
everyone has to be in on one worksheet together. We should only be turning in one worksheet.
Right, but what we can do is give our answer on the discussion board, and that person can cut and paste to the worksheet. And that way, not one person's having to write 4 paragraphs. Does that make sense?
Alita, was it you that said you would do the summary?
I said that I can type it up.
Okay, so what if we each send you, like, one of the questions that we answer? We
Yeah.
could send it to your email, or we could do the doc. We could do the our discussion group or whatever. Just whatever you think is the easiest way to get it to you.
Terry,
Yeah,
you were in my group before. That's what we did, and it worked out great. So everybody just emailed me their note, what they thought, and then I put it into the document. It was really easy. So
Yeah, if everyone wants to just send it to me, to my email, to either, did you all get the emails on Google for this?
Mhm.
Because all of our emails should be on that.
Yeah.
So if you want to send it to my Gmail, then I can just put it all together and I'll submit it.
Okay.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good.
So today I'll just answer number 3. So whatever responses people give, I'll answer number 3 on that one, if you want me to.
The list relevant risks.
Yes, the family and members. Yeah, risks and dangers.
Okay.
I wonder.
I can do number 2.
Okay.
The key principles.
Okay.
Sorry, who said that?
Tiffany.
Okay, and Allison is answering the relevant risks and dangers.
Yes, number 3.
I'll summarize the case for sure. So
I will do the relevant opportunities.
that was Alita.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'll. Has anyone done 6? 1, 2.
No.
I'll do
What?
6, which
Number
is
26. I'm looking at one that's bullet pointed.
4,
Number
5,
6 is recommended coping strategies. Do you want to do that
Right.
one?
Yep, I'll do that.
I'll do
Oh,
number
actually-
5. Oh, sorry. I'll do number
Oh,
5.
that's fine.
Note important relationships considered.
Allison, you're doing the relationships?
Yeah, so I have 3 and 5.
And Alita, I actually did a pretty thorough case. I just did a write-up on all of these answers, and so I'll just send you what I have, and you can use whatever you want.
Oh, for the summary?
Yeah, I just did
Doing the summary.
not even just the summary, but just the full paper. I answered every one of them, so I'll just send you what I have.
Yeah, and just send everything to me, my email address, if everyone wants to write it down. I'll give you both my Gmail and my student one,
Okay.
Sounds
just so you know you have it for sure. My Gmail is MENLI JENN09@gmail.com. And then my BYUI one is JEN90014@byui.edu. So I guess, honestly, I'm a little confused about what we're meeting about, since we're not recording the meeting, and if we're just going to collaborate on it, and I'm going to just send it all in.
Yeah, just quickly, we'll just briefly, so like, just take the point that you just volunteered for. There's actually one more, which is the additional resources.
Okay,
Right.
so really quick, let me just make sure I have what everyone's doing. I'm going to summarize the case. Tiffany is going to list principles or concepts. Relevant risks and dangers is Allison. Relevant opportunities is Alita. Important relationship considerations is Allison. Coping strategies is Terry. And had someone said they were going to do
I'll
the
do it.
recommendation?
Tiffany, I'll do additional resources.
Tiffany is doing additional resources. Okay, and then I'll do the recommendation to the involved parties. Sound good?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, just a second.
Hold on, someone's at the door, but just go start with me.
Okay, so I guess I'll just summarize the case study really quickly. It focuses on a family that lives in Gaza that is kind of in the line of fire. It starts out talking about a kid who was actually hit by some shrapnel from rockets, and then it talks about the family and how they had an older son who was actually killed from a rocket a few years ago. And it just talks about the stress on the family and how Dad says that it's normal in Gaza during war to experience loss. And that's basically it. It's a very general summary.
Okay, so some of the key principles or concepts from the course that can be applied in offering help or direction for this family. I put that I felt like the recent model that we studied, the family typology model, would be good for this family because it focuses on culture, and their culture plays in a lot to how they will handle this crisis because boys are revered, and I think in a way that none of us can really understand that they take so much pride in boys, and this family has already lost one boy and now had another injured, and so I think the family typology model would help to take into consideration their culture. They're also facing multiple stressors, that they've already lost a son, and now they have this son who is been severely injured. The father has lost his job, and they just every day live in this war-torn area where there's a lot of stress. I think it would it would be helpful for them to have family councils, which when I was thinking about that seemed really odd, because to me family council is like, I've always just thought of it in our like little church realm, how we have family home meeting or whatever, but how beneficial this idea would be for all families, and that this family needs to meet together often so that they can talk about how they feel. It mentioned that they have sisters who have struggled as well, and their considerations need to be met during this time as well. The mood logs, again, I think would be very helpful for this family. I cannot even begin to fathom the different emotions that they must be feeling every day. And so I think regular mood logs to help them to stay positive and to counteract the negative, stressful situations with positive thoughts would be very helpful to them. They face a ton of fear and anxiety, and I think the mood logs could really help them to overcome those things. So that's what I had. I don't know if somebody else wants to add to that. So.
Well, I don't have my notes in front of me. Is there the FAR, F-A-A-R?
Yeah.
I know about that because of the vulnerability. They're constantly being vulnerable, and they have to kind of come up with solutions on how to resolve their day-to-day life, you know, with regards to employment, you know, where can the kids play. I kind of thought about that. That's the only one extra that I had on my.
Okay, I'll add that into my notes.
I like the protective factors that Coz talked about, or Coos talked about. I felt like the family was using those, and I felt like that they were resilient because of some of these that they already had in place before the war zone.
That's true.
Like the father kept his role as a father, the satisfaction within the family. I mean, it didn't tell a lot about the family, but there were bits and pieces that I kind of picked up and thought that they still had a sense of direction because they were blessed with this child, and the father said that God blessed them. And, you know, I think that they did have some protective factors in there.
Okay, I'll add that too.
Okay, do we want to do the next one?
Mm-hmm.
The risks and dangers that the family members faced. Tiffany, are you done? Is that good for you, Tiffany?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Some of the risks and dangers that the family members face, obviously the first one is their life. I think every day they pretty much had to be careful. Another risk, or I'm not sure if it's a danger, but a concern, or not even a concern, but maybe that might be for a different one, but I just thought it was kind of interesting that the children really couldn't play out in an open field. They were confined to one little doorstep that they could play on because of their safety. So I'm trying to think how I could tie that in with a danger or a risk. I think, do you know what I'm trying to say, trying to get at? Would that even be a risk or a danger? Probably not, but it was just, I don't know, maybe it was more of a concern, or as a mother, you know, like them to interact with more people. Employment was a risk because the father had to have 2 kidney transplants, and therefore he had a hard time with work. He was unemployed, and so he had international help, and also his brother. Another risk could be, I think, with that relationship with his brother. His brother could, I mean, I know that his brother loves him. I know that extended family becomes really important in times like this, and so maybe the brother's okay with helping his brother, what's the father's name, Ozma, with his situation. But I wonder if there could be a financial strain that eventually could happen. Another risk or danger was the daughter, who was experiencing a lot of problems, and so they had to go get psychiatric help. I was also a little concerned maybe about the mother having another child and naming that child after their oldest brother. I just think that's kind of, there's a psychological thing going on right there to remember the son's name. I don't think that's really fair for that child who's being born. That's my thoughts, you know, because he won't have his own identity. So I was kind of really deep into that. In regards to employment, I was concerned a little bit about their housing. If you don't have enough money to be able to afford your needs, I don't know what that's going to put the family in. And then, of course, their life and, you know, getting hurt. That's all I had. I didn't know if anybody else had any more.
I put down that there's a risk for PTSD with them being in an area that's getting a lot of rockets.
What's that called again?
PTSD.
Oh, post-trauma.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, I mean, you kind of already touched on it, but the thing that I was most concerned about, I guess, that really caught my attention was just that the kid that was named after the first son, that he might be expected to, like, replace that son. And
even though they said that's not what they expected,
right, I think that there's still going to be a danger for that, that kid is going to be expected to be a replacement in some ways inadvertently probably, but I think that's definitely a danger.
Yeah, I thought that same thing. Like, yeah, I agree with you there.
I thought that the children were at risk because that they could possibly be the invisible children, with the focus being on the brother who died. You know, having this big picture in their living room, which is not a bad thing. They should, you know, respectfully remember him, but also with the name, and just there's a huge focus on the loss, and so I think that the children could be at risk here.
Hey, let me ask you something about the children only being able to play in one area. Is that something I need to put in? Do you know what I mean? That safety.
It says that they were playing in the doorway. I don't know that that's the. Did it say is that the only place they could play, or was that just where they happened to be?
Well, we know that one of the things that happen in war zones is that there's a lack of recreation. The kids can't really go out places.
Right. So you could add that is. I think that is a risk that kids can't.
Recreation.
They can't like be kids. They can't go, you know, play soccer in the street or whatever. Like they aren't really allowed to be kids.
That's true. They have to grow up really fast. That's what I was trying to get at, but I couldn't figure out how to put it. Kids can't be kids. Okay, that's what I wanted. All right, I'm done.
Okay. I think the biggest opportunity that I recognized for this family was with the younger son's injury. I don't remember his name.
The younger son is Muhammad.
That was could have been a wake-up call for them to remind them. Okay. Just how fleeting life is, I guess. Like, to take advantage of the opportunities that they have to bond together as a family, and especially with Osama being home because he can't work, gives them the opportunity to spend more time together as a family. Did you guys have anything else?
No, I think that's good. They have an opportunity to just be a good example, like to, you know, for other people to learn from them.
Yeah.
It's hard to think that they could actually have like an opportunity to help.
Yeah.
Really, like.
Okay. Well, I really didn't really have anything different. For number 5, no important relationships considered. I think in all situations, the most important relationship to consider is the husband and wife. And I feel my thoughts are if the husband and wife are on par, then that kind of seems to trickle down to the family. A concern that I did have is the father's health because, you know, if something happens to him, I don't know how the mother. I guess she'll probably rely on her brother-in-law for assistance and the international government to help her as well. But I would probably say first the husband and wife, then the second the health of the father, because of what I can't remember your name, but you mentioned about in your last answer about the father's role in the home and how that the coup diagram or the model. I also I do have a concern about the daughter, mainly because of her, you know, she's in a lot of fear and trouble. Actually, they're all important relationships. I know that, what's that son's name? The oldest son, you know, dreams about killing Israelites. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of a concern, you know, kind of like what you were saying about the PTSD. You know, psychiatric breakdown, you know, you don't know what can happen. So to me, I think all these relationships need to be considered, but the most important one really is the mother, father, and the father. Because if the father's in the home and the mother and father are okay, then they have the resources to draw upon each other to help their children. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
Perfect. I'll go on to recommended coping strategies. I thought talking in the interview and sharing their family's heartache of their loss was like therapeutic for the whole family. loving and caring for each other. I kind of noticed the way that the father held his son. I mean, he obviously loves and cares a lot about his family. They seem to be continuing to care for each other, and I think that's healthy. Coping ways to cope. Accepting help from others lifts their own burdens and those around them. Using the medical community to help the daughter who had psychiatric issues was another way of coping. Routine was shown as the children, as the little boy was getting ready to go back to school. I imagine they couldn't go all the time, but that was part of routine. And also that the family sleeps in the stairwell when there's air raids. I thought that was a good routine that they had that helped them cope and feel safe. My recommendation would be taking opportunities to serve as a family. I don't know what kind of opportunities these would be, but just maybe reaching out to friends or neighbors, because everybody's in this war zone. And I think that would help the family thrive and be stronger through the crisis by lifting others. Any thoughts?
I thought a coping mechanism, a strategy that they have, maybe it's not, but I was thinking the picture. Here they had a death of a son, and I thought,
yeah,
that would be a coping. I know I would probably do that if my child died. I probably would have a picture, a way of coping, of knowing that, one day I will see that child again.
Right.
But I'm coming from a Mormon perspective on life after death. I know Arabs believe in life after death, so I would think that would be one way of coping with the death of their son.
Sure. Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, so recommendations to supporting your involved parties. I thought this one, to me at least, it seemed a little difficult just because, like, most of the involved parties are still pretty close by, it seems, also in the war zone. So it seemed a little hard to me to, I guess, know how supporting parties could really help very much, because they're probably all in a similar situation. But I thought that maybe we could recommend to them that they just are like loving and supportive towards the family and are willing to listen to them. That was pretty much it.
Well, like the uncle already gave him, tried to help him with employment. Like, that's one way to offer support. But I also thought, I've seen these, YouTube videos and stuff just in the past, and so one thing I wrote down is that they could entertain each other, and it's not just one family giving support to the other. It's kind of like this community kind of all needs to support each other, and the children especially to just to play, so that they they play games, or they have these games they play in the dirt and stuff, like, just to remind them that, so that they can smile, you know what I mean? But I think they kind of need to be supportive to each other, and not just, it's not just about this one family. This is just one situation that we're reading about, but I would imagine if we were there that we would see the similar situations in just about every family.
So probably sharing is probably what you're probably referring to today, is just sharing their stories together to kind of help each other, lift each other up, because sometimes you're down, the other family could be up, and you just communicating would be very effective for these individuals.
Yep, I think so. Okay, I have the last one. What additional resources would you provide or suggest? And I would suggest that this family, they're going to need continued support, and thank goodness that they have, government people there to help them with psychiatric care and just counseling, because they'll need to continue to do that. That they need to continue to meet together to talk about the way they feel, and this is ongoing through probably the remainder of their lives, because as we know, this has always been and probably always will be a war zone. That they need to have family councils. I also think it would be really beneficial for this family to have an emergency plan, like someplace where they know to go or what to do when there is air attacks. They're often and common, and maybe they already do, but to have children injured twice in the same way, injured and killed, that maybe if they had a plan of, you know, when they hear the planes or whatever it is, that they have a meeting place so that when there is a tragedy or another airstrike, that they're together and they can offer support. I think that would be helpful for them if they had like an emergency plan. That's all I had written down.
I love that, because I actually didn't even think of that. I was just thinking if they have local, you know, like in the LDA, we have, you know, assistance from the headquarters to help us, right? I didn't know if the Arabs had that in other forms of their countries to bring in assistance.
They don't. They have us. They have our military that offers a ton of assistance over there, but I don't know that they are even in a place to, I mean, I don't know, but I know that it's like the people who go volunteer for a couple months at a time, doctors and people will go over there. I think that's I think probably how they're getting the psychiatric care that they're getting is probably through.
So do the Arabs and Muslims, are they Muslims?
Yeah.
Does
For the most part.
kind of help each other from like India? Would people from India and their Muslim groups help their Muslim brothers?
Not really that many Muslims.
I don't really know, because they're Arabs, right?
Right, so Arabs are like a culture, not, I mean,
Right.
most Arabs are Muslims, but
But is their religious faith Muslim?
for the most part, yes.
So would the Muslim faith, let's say in India, kind of like how in our faith we would help other countries, I'm just curious, would the Muslim group help their people in?
For the most part, Islam is not as centralized, not nearly as centralized as our church, so they don't really have the same kind of like headquarters or something that would produce an effort like that, I think.
Okay, and then in disregard, Tiffany, my answer.
No, I think most of the assistance they get is foreign, not anything to do with religion. I think it's just foreign military and
like Red Cross.
Doctors Without Borders, that kind of stuff that they go over for a month at a time or whatever.
The Red Cross would go over.
Mm-hmm. There's probably some Red Cross there.
Oh, okay, that's good. I honestly did not answer that question, except I put the Muslim. So good thing I didn't have to answer that one.
Well, I thought this was kind of interesting. It took me clear out of my comfort zone because as we talk about, you know, families in crisis this whole semester, not once has my brain ever left our country, you know, and thought about, I mean, how would you help a family like this? It's almost like, you know, you just hope they survive, like they're just surviving. And it was interesting to see how these people, not just this case study, but the actual article that, you know, the big study that we had to read, how their marriages, how they coped and what they did, I thought was really interesting because I would probably just crawl in a hole and hope that I got hit by a bomb, you know, like who would want to live like that? But they haven't ever known anything else. This is their normal. And it's just, anyway, it was just so beyond anything I'd ever really thought about in the context of family therapy before. So I thought it was kind of interesting, sad, really sad, but that people live like that can still find happiness and can still, you know, feel joy in their family was really humbling to me, I guess is the right word. It made me feel very humble.
Well, it really made me think of the Syrian refugees that are coming to America. You know, because I sat there, I was honest, I sat there and thought, okay, why are we studying this? Because we really don't have this problem here. But then I thought of the refugees that are here who have experienced war, who are probably going to be relying on counselors and assistants. And having this information, let's say they come to your city, well, you're going to have a different perspective. Now, I'm going to have a different perspective if I encounter one than my naive one before.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm like you guys. My grandson is crying, and I've got to go here, but I will submit this to you. Thanks.
Yeah, so everyone just email me your part, and I'll put them all together and get it submitted hopefully tonight.
150
Okay,
words,
thanks, Melanie. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Elena, is it 150 words, Melanie?
Anywhere from 100 to 200 words per answer.
Okay, wait, I just looked that up. I don't see that anywhere. Where did you see that?
I was seeing that on the So on the, when she sent out the case study thing,
On the worksheet?
worksheet,
Okay.
yeah, it says your answers for each bullet point should be between 100 and 200 words in length.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks.
Perfect. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
All right.